Hey guys, it's Malthor here once again with a follow-up video on the cast on crit, which turned out to be Ice Spear, and Blazing Salvo Bow Pathfinder. So to begin with, I did try out a triple spell combo, and I wanted to make like Cascade or Firestorm work, because I really like the idea of the big meteors coming down and doing substantial initial hits, but it's just a bit too clumsy and not really worthwhile. And putting in a second Ice Spear in the helm has ultimately saved my character. I felt kind of bad about it in the end game when I was around level 91. All the way up until that, I wasn't particularly enjoying it in red maps because it felt a bit weird, felt a bit like unsafe. And when I swapped around and started to use two Ice Spears, one in the helmet, one in the bow, and then a Blazing Salvo in the bow as well, I really actually started to take a liking to the character and kept playing it for at least another day and doing another couple of rounds of endgame even. So I was pleasantly surprised with what happened there and can thoroughly recommend doing that as well. Just the ability to throw out Ice Spears without needing to crit, so it's kind of like the pre-fire, similar to just essentially having Ice Spear as a bow skill, if that makes any sense, since you just right click and throw out some Ice Spears, and then also conditionally when you crit with Barrage, you're going to throw out all of the Blazing Salvos and another girthier Ice Spear. The only real thing I haven't done and that I regret not doing by now is getting some Pierce into the build. So if you have a source of Pierce like a Talisman, 2 extra Pierce there, your Quiver implicit, maybe on the bow there's some Pierce, you can get some on the passive tree, a Cluster Jewel. There's plenty of Pierce to be gotten, but my character was already pretty well established and I couldn't go out of my way for it. I think if you can get it, it should make your clear a lot nicer, since the Barrage itself will be piercing and thus getting more cast on crit procs after the initial ones, and also the Ice Spears will be shredding straight through packs of enemies too. But I don't have that, and it was completely fine still. I wasn't feeling bad about the character, I just knew that I'd feel a lot better if I got some Pierce into the build as well. I did all of the content on a 5-link, but at the same time I wanted more, so I did end up 6-linking my bow and adding Awakened Added Cold. It's still in just level 1, so not level 5 viability or anything like that. And it did up a substantial amount of damage into our build, so I could definitely recommend getting a 6-link, fucking huge spoiler there, because it's pretty damn good for the overall DPS, sustain, survivability of the character. So those are the main changes. I did end up chucking a 6-link in, and I did end up getting the Ice Spear, double Ice Spear setup happening, and as well as that, I did put in a Wave of Conviction, because the idea is that with the Admiral, the whatever lowest resist benefits all your damage, so we're trying to make sure that Wave of Conviction hits with fire and also has combustion attached to it, so combined with the elemental equilibrium, sometimes it's going to be doing the maximum amount of exposure minus resist and enemy equilibriumizing, etc. So hopefully that makes sense and actually does damage. I don't know, it's felt okay, but yeah, not 100 billion% sold on that one. We'll just chalk it up to let's hope it's working. But you can see the Ice Spear is pretty damn potent. I was doing plenty of 83 heists and only dying typically to some dumb mistakes like running into traps when I shouldn't have. Otherwise, the sustain on the Pathfinder is pretty insane, and it's pretty okay. I would have loved to get 6k life, but it is okay for sustain with the life gain on hit that I've got only from my ring. So if you actually had a Vitality Watcher's Eye that gave 30 life gain on hit for both Barrage and Ice Spear and Blazing Salvo, I think it would be pretty crazy for sustain, and you could definitely invest a bit harder. I think you could still fit a Cluster Jewel in if you rework it. You can definitely go Assassin on the build and then probably drop a bunch of crit if you need to. So I'm not 100% sold on Pathfinder, but I did love chugging flasks whenever I wanted, and these are my like Awakener 7 boss fights, I think it is, and they're pretty okay. Nothing, super special on the single target, but definitely not too bad. And the playstyle for some bosses is going to be, tank it and you can just burn through it, but for a lot of them, you're kind of a little bit squishy, and you do want to make those little dodges from time to time that help you avoid all the damage altogether. But I was, thoroughly enjoying the character up until, now even still, I'm trying to get a Awakener 8 in at this point, which I won't be showing anymore because it's not really worth waiting around and chucking that into the video as well. This is just an Awakener 7 here, but you can check it out on stream or the VOD, since I should be doing it sometime soon. But yeah, I'm not 100% sold on this being a fully worthwhile cast on crit build or build to play, but if you want something like this, I think it's okay once you put all the things together, and I had a lot of fun with it, and I just kind of love Ice Spear. I think whether in cast channeling, cast on crit, whatever it is, Ice Spear is pretty damn cool. So thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you next time.